Hey guys, welcome back to Obsessed with Videos for another update. It's been quite a while since I've last done an update, mostly since I've been on holiday quite recently to France and Belgium, and also because of other stuff as well. But anyway, this is a cinema ticket update I'm doing this time, in which I've got seven cinema tickets in this update, and the first one is Civil War, the recent film directed by Alex Garland. The film was released by entertainment film distributors A24 Films and DNA Films and IPR.VC as well. And also, this film is not to be confused with Captain America Civil War. This is an entirely different film. And the film's rated 15. I saw this at Cineworld in Castleford on June 5th, 2024 at 2:20 p.m. and I was in screen 6 and I was in row H and seat 16. Next one is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, which is the prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, considering that it features the origin story of one of the characters from that film, Furiosa. Although in this film, instead of being played by Charlize Theron, she's played by Anya Taylor-Joy. And the film was released by Warner Brothers Pictures, Domain Entertainment, which is kind of the new financing partner for Warner Brothers films. They're basically the new version of Rat Pack Entertainment, who financed many of Warner Brothers films during the mid-2010s. And also Kennedy Miller Mitchell Productions, considering that this was done by George Miller, just like with all the other Mad Max films. Anyway, the film's rated 15. I saw this at Cineworld in Castleford on June 6, 2024 at 2 p.m. And I was in screen 12 and I was in row K and seat 5. Next one is If, which is the recent family comedy from Ryan Reynolds and John Krasinski. The film was released by Paramount Pictures, Maximum Effort, and Sunday Night Productions, with Maximum Effort being the production company of Ryan Reynolds and Sunday Night Productions being the production company of John Krasinski, I believe. And the film was rated U, and the film was rated U. I saw this at Cineworld in Castleford on August. Not August. It's not August yet. I don't know where my mind is, but anyway, June 19th, 2024 at 2:40 p.m. and I was in screen 13 and I was in row F and seat 12. Next one is for another U-rated family film. It's the Garfield movie, the one with Chris Pratt. And that is also directed by Mark Dindal, who also did films like Chicken Little and The Emperor's New Groove. And the funny thing is that even though Garfield is now owned by Paramount and Nickelodeon, this film was somehow released through Sony Pictures. And a lot of companies were involved in this film, although Paramount and Nickelodeon obviously weren't. But the companies involved with this film include Sony Pictures through the Columbia label, in which once again I saw the Columbia 100 Years logo, just like I did with Madam Web and Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. The 2024 Garfield movie was also co-produced by Alcon Entertainment, who previously did films like Dolphin Tale, Racing Stripes and Blade Runner 2049, among many others, most of which were co-produced with Warner Brothers. And the Garfield movie was also made by Prime Focus Studios, Dean Egg Animation, who provided the animation for the film, One Cool Group, and Wayfarer Studios. As I mentioned, the film's rated U. I saw this at Cineworld in Castleford on June 25th, 2024 at 3:50 p.m. and I was in screen 2 and I was in row H and seat 9. Next one is The Bike Riders, the recent film directed by Jeff Nichols, I think, who was also the director of films like Loving and Midnight Special. And the film was released by Universal Pictures, Focus Features, Tri-State Films, and Regency Enterprises. And here's a little bit of a story about this film's history with distribution, because originally this film was slated for December 2023, and it would be released by Disney through 20th Century Studios, which is usually the company that releases the Regency films. And they actually put a trailer up, the first trailer out for this film with the 20th Century Studios logo on it and the first poster as well. However, when this film was delayed due to the strikes of 2023, like the actors and writers strike, I think what happened was that Disney ended up backing out of distribution of The Bike Riders, or maybe Regency pulled the distribution rights away from Disney and then started looking for a new distributor for the film, and ultimately the film would end up being released by Focus Features, which is the indie division of Universal, and thus Universal became the international distribution partner for this film. Anyway, the film's rated 15. I saw this at Cineworld in Castleford on July 3rd, 2024 at 2:30 p.m. And I was in screen 2 and I was in row G and seat 5. And the next cinema ticket I've got is quite a big one. In fact, it's what currently seems to be the biggest film of 2024. At least so far, and the big comeback for Disney and Pixar at the box office, and the billion-dollar hit that they've desperately needed after all the flops that they've had in recent years, like Lightyear, Strange World, and Wish. And that film in particular is Inside Out 2, which is not only the biggest film of the year and the first Pixar film to make over $1 billion since 2019's Toy Story 4, and Disney's first animated film overall to make $1 billion since Frozen 2 in 2019. Not only has it achieved all those records, but I'd even say I really loved this film. I'd consider it one of my favourites, if not currently my favourite of the year. I think the animation is really good. I mean, it's Pixar, so that's kind of to be expected. I love the emotions in the film, including the new ones like anxiety, envy, ennui, and embarrassment. And it was nice to see all the old emotions again, like joy, anger, disgust, fear, and sadness. But overall, I think this was a really good film, and I do like some of the recent films that Disney and Pixar have put out, like I enjoyed Lightyear, even though I know a lot of people were disappointed by it. But then again, it's a different film to the Toy Story films, so people were coming in with the expectations they had with the Toy Story films, thinking that Lightyear was going to be as good as those, but ultimately they ended up walking out disappointed. And then you have Wish, which a lot of people didn't really like that film, but I personally enjoyed it. But then you have Inside Out 2, which has been getting great reviews. I enjoyed it. I loved it as well. And needless to say, it deserves to make over $1 billion. And this is a film that I can relate to in many ways as well. So I think it ultimately deserves that record. Not to mention becoming the biggest animated film of all time. That is, technically it's the second highest grossing film of all time, in which has beaten out films like Frozen 2 and the Super Mario Brothers movie. And it's in second place if you do count the 2019 Lion King remake as an animated film, in which I technically do count it as an animated film because because most of the film is just hyper-realistic animation. So even though some people will consider it live action, I personally consider it animation. But considering that the Lion King remake made over $1.6 billion, it's probably going to be hard for Inside Out 2 to actually achieve that record. But then again, we'll have to wait and see. Who knows? Anyway, this film obviously was produced by Disney and Pixar. The film was rated U. I saw this at Cineworld in Castleford on July 18th, 2024 at 2:50 p.m. And I was in screen 11 and I was in row H and seat 12. And the final cinema ticket for this update is Fly Me to the Moon, the 2024 film starring Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson. And not to be confused with the 2008 animated film that was produced by N-Wave Pictures. This is an entirely different film, although it still involves like space and stuff like that. And also this film was co-produced by Sony Pictures through the Columbia label. So again, I saw the Columbia 100 logo on this film, albeit without the Sony logo preceding it. Most likely because Sony and Apple are contenders, in which Apple Original Films was another one of the companies involved with the film, and also a company called These Pictures, which I've never heard of. Maybe this is their first film, I'm not really sure, but anyway. The film was rated 12A. I saw this at Cineworld in Castleford on July 24th, 2024 at 4:40 p.m. and I was in screen 11 and I was in row H and seat 12. So I think it was in the exact same seats and place I watched Inside Out 2 in. So anyway, that concludes this update, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. See you later!